You are listening to a series of 10 podcasts on the foundations of American government and politics, presented by Citizen U. Episode 7. Explain how the U.S. Supreme Court over time has interpreted the meaning of our fundamental freedoms as found in the First Amendment. Ultimately, the United States Supreme Court is empowered to interpret what our laws and privileges mean. Throughout our history, there have been a number of landmark court cases that have defined the meaning of our rights. Below, you will find a few of the most important landmark cases. Marbury v. Madison, 1803, established judicial review. This empowered the court to rule on the constitutionality of all laws, including presidential action. Though rarely used in our early years, hardly any significant question in today's political arena escapes the court's review and judgment. McCulloch v. Maryland, 1819, established the supremacy of the national government. In this case, the court recognized the necessary and proper clause as authoritative when creating a national bank, despite the Constitution's silence on the matter. This case would have far-reaching consequences in the battle between the national government and the states. Schenck v. the United States, 1919, was an early case defining the limits of our free speech. Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes famously stated in his opinion, "Free speech would not protect a man in falsely shouting fire in a crowded theater." The ruling precedent of this case established the clear and present danger standard. Gitlau v. New York, 1925, incorporated the Free Speech Clause of the First Amendment. For the first time, free speech would be extended equally in all states through the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. Tinker v. Des Moines, 1969, further established the reach of the First Amendment into symbolic speech. Furthermore, the court recognized that students do not shed their rights at the schoolhouse gate. Most importantly, symbols on clothing and/or inaudible expressions are protected by the Free Speech Clause of the First Amendment. New York Times v. the United States, 1971, established the limits of free press. The government can use prior restraint when confronted by national security issues. The court, however, chose in this case to raise the standard of national security quite high. Here the court chose not to disallow the publication of the leaked Pentagon Papers. Everson v. Board of Education, 1947, defined for the first time the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment. Justice Hugo Black stated that a wall of separation existed between church and state. This case also incorporated the Establishment Clause. Using the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment, no state could establish one religion over another. Be reminded that the First Amendment contains our most cherished rights. Often our courts give them a preferred position. Governments did not give these rights to us. Rather, we empower governments to protect these natural rights. You have been listening to a series of 10 podcasts on the foundations of American government and politics, presented by Citizen U.